It was the kind of moment that felt scripted by fate, cruel and beautiful all at once. The soft hum of a busy Seattle morning faded into nothing as her breath caught in her throat, her pulse thundering in her ears. There he was, Noah, the boy she had once planned her entire future around, the boy who vanished from her life 7 years ago with a single text that shattered her world. She came for a blind date arranged by a friend, expecting awkward small talk with a stranger, not the ghost of her past sitting at a corner table, stirring his coffee as if the universe hadn't just twisted itself inside out. If you believe in kindness, healing, and unexpected second chances, please like this video, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know. Avery stood frozen near the entrance, her hands trembling slightly as memories, both warm and painful, washed through her like a crashing tide. Time had changed him. He looked older, calmer, dressed neatly in a pale gray shirt that made the soft light fall gently across his face. But his presence still carried that familiar steadiness, that quiet confidence she once adored. She had spent years trying to convince herself she no longer cared what happened to him. And yet, in a single heartbeat, the truth echoed through her. Some stories don't end just because you stop writing them. She considered walking out, pretending she had never stepped through the door. She could call her friend later, joke about the blind date that never happened, spin a version of reality where Noah didn't exist anymore. But her feet refused to move. Maybe it was anger, maybe it was heartbreak resurfacing, or maybe, deep down, she still needed closure she never received. Slowly, she walked toward him, struggling to steady the storm inside her chest. Noah looked up just as she reached the table. His eyes widened, recognition, disbelief, something softer flickering behind them. Avery saw his fingers tighten slightly on the mug, as though grounding himself. For a moment, neither of them spoke, but the silence between them held years of unspoken apologies, unanswered questions, and 1,000 versions of what could have been. Avery finally sat down, though her legs felt unsteady. The cafe around them buzzed with life, machines steaming, baristas calling out orders, but their small corner felt suspended in time. She tried to compose herself, reminding her heart that she didn't come here to revisit the past. She came here for a new beginning, and Noah was supposed to be long gone from her story. But life wasn't always interested in honoring our expectations. It cared more about the unresolved, the undone, the unspoken. Avery had spent much of her 20s rebuilding herself after Noah left. She moved from Ohio to Washington to chase her career as a graphic designer, to distance herself from everything familiar. She had lost her mother that same year, making Noah's disappearance even more crushing, as if she had lost 2 pillars of her world at once. She pretended she didn't need anyone, convincing herself self-reliance was strength. But the truth was that heartbreak had taught her to become her own armor, even when she still longed for softness. Now, sitting across from him, she felt that armor crack. The conversation began stiffly, filled with cautious words and safe topics: the weather, Seattle's endless autumn drizzle, the cafe's popularity. But beneath each sentence hid another one they didn't dare touch. Noah's voice carried a tenderness she remembered too well, but it also held something heavier, as though life had carved its lessons into him in ways she couldn't yet see. Then, as the conversation stretched, he spoke of his father's sudden illness all those years ago, the unexpected move to care for him, the chaos that swallowed him whole. He admitted he handled everything terribly, shutting her out instead of letting her in, believing leaving her was a way to protect her from the pain. He was drowning in. Avery listened silently, each word tugging at old wounds she thought had healed. She didn't interrupt, she didn't scold. She simply listened, because deep down, she had always wanted an explanation, and for the first time, she felt like she was hearing the truth. It didn't erase the hurt, but it gave shape to it. And sometimes, understanding is the first step toward forgiveness. As minutes turned into an hour, Avery found herself remembering why she fell in love with Noah once upon a time. His warmth, his sincerity, the way he never looked at her like she needed fixing, but like she was already whole. Life had shaped them differently now. They weren't the same impulsive teenagers dreaming of forever. They were adults carrying scars, regrets, and lessons carved from heartbreak. But oddly, that made the space between them feel more grounded, more real. The The rain began to fall outside, streaking the tall windows with soft silver trails. Avery felt a gentle shift inside her, like a knot loosening. She wasn't sure if it was forgiveness, closure, or the beginning of something new, but the heaviness she carried for years began to lift. Not all at once, but enough that she could finally breathe. Their conversation drifted to their careers, their hopes, the small joys they found in adulthood. They laughed lightly at old memories, acknowledging the sweetness without reopening the wounds. Avery realized she no longer felt the sharp sting of the past, just a quiet gratitude for the moments that shaped her, even the painful ones. Noah didn't ask for another chance. He didn't push for a future. He simply asked if they could meet again, not as lovers, not as anything defined, but as two people who once loved deeply and now had the chance to rediscover each other on steady ground. Avery hesitated, not out of fear, but from careful reflection. She had grown. She had healed in ways she didn't fully recognize until now, and maybe, just maybe, some stories deserve the chance to be rewritten, not from the broken place where they fell apart, but from the strength built afterward. When she finally stood to leave, Noah rose with her. They stepped outside into the soft drizzle, the gray Seattle light wrapping them gently. Avery felt strangely renewed, as if life had handed her a moment of grace she didn't know she needed. She didn't know where things would go from here. She didn't know if their paths would intertwine again or gently separate. But she walked away with something she hadn't felt in years: peace. And with that peace came a soft spark of hope. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world. Before you go, comment below. Would you give a second chance to someone who once broke your heart?